a grand slam home run. Who's writing this script for this kid? This doesn't happen even in Hollywood, but it did.
This afternoon, the National League's hottest player takes on the National League's hottest team. The San Diego Padres, led by Carlos Quentin, who returns to the lineup after a 7-day absence today, taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. A great Southern California rivalry matchup tonight on Baseball Night in America. A National League best 13-7 month of June has put the Padres just 2.5 off the division pace, while the Dodgers look up at the rest of the pack at 30-42. With that, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth with Eric Karros, Matt Vasgersian. The San Diego Padres, Eric, with a payroll roughly a third of that of the Los Angeles Dodgers. The big story in the National League West this month.
Well, as you mentioned, playing extremely well, and it's not just one thing. It's not the offense. It's not just the pitching. It's a combination of everything. They're a very versatile ball club. And this is a team that is without 4 of its opening day starters. How do they do it? It's contributions from every facet. On the other side of the ball today, it's basically been one guy, and that's Puig. All Puig. Since his recall on June 3rd, he leads all of Major League Baseball in batting average, in hits, and slugging percentage. A very exciting player. You know that when you come to the ballpark, you're going to see him do something that you might never have seen before. Yasiel
Puig is one of the big featured stories in this matchup this afternoon. The other has to do with the starting pitching matchup. Zach Greinke on the mound for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He'll face Carlos Quentin for the first time since the April flare-up between the two that landed Greinke on the DL and put Quentin in a less than his usual self offensive state. A good one on tap for you this afternoon on a picture postcard day from San Diego. We're back with the lineups and the opening pitch right after this. Beyond center field here in San Diego, an absolutely perfect afternoon for baseball. The Dodgers and Padres getting together in the third of a 4-game series. Let's get you right to Don Mattingly's Dodgers starting lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you got to lift Moss. Schumacher, Puig, and ex-Padre Adrian Gonzalez lead things off this afternoon. Three-time All-Star Hanley Ramirez has been hot, having 9 hits in his last 14 at-bats. Andre Ethier plays center field this afternoon. Mark Ellis, Juan Uribe, A.J. Ellis, and Zach Greinke round things out for Los Angeles today. They'll take swings against the 9-year veteran, 29-year-old right-hander Edinson Volquez, coming off a no decision Monday in San Francisco and looking to get over 500 this afternoon.
Well, Bud Black telling us prior to the game, when he's on, he could be as good as anybody. What you need to watch is his control. Sometimes he has a tendency to fly open, ball starts to sail. Also look for that changeup. If he's getting it over, he's effective.
The opening pitch this afternoon is brought to you by Budweiser. From May to July, buying Budweiser benefits military families. Skip Schumacher ready to start things for Los Angeles. Don Mattingly telling us before the game that he has remained optimistic through what has been a rather dreary stretch for the Blue, that today will be the day things turn around for his last place club. First pitch of the afternoon from Edinson Volquez. Misses the corner. It's a ball and no strikes. One of the things, Eric, that has most plagued the Dodgers this year, and it has not gone without the notice of Los Angeles area media, is their road woes. 11-22 away from Dodger Stadium. In fact, it's the worst road start by a Dodger team since 1986.
Well, they haven't played well on the road, but you know what? Don Mattingly will tell you they haven't played well at home either. And it's just been a collective effort. You can't just pinpoint one thing. Just been a bad brand of baseball.
2 balls and no strikes. The count to Skip Schumacher. There's a strike for Volquez. 2-1. Schumacher, Puig, and Gonzalez to start the afternoon for LA. They've lost the first 2 in the series, including a loss yesterday on a Clayton Kershaw started night. There's a chopper for Pedro Siriaco. The newest Padre is on it, and there's one away. Well, that'll bring up everybody's favorite Dodger of the moment, the Cuban phenom Yasiel Puig. And Puig gets the kind of ovation here in San Diego with a largely partisan Dodger crowd, as per usual, that was once reserved for the Manny Ramirez and Mike Piazzas, and going back even further, Steve Garvey's of the world. That is to say, given the raspberry by the home faithful and wildly supported by those wearing visiting blue. He is off to a terrific start. Only DiMaggio, Pendleton, and Bo Hart of the Cardinals in 03, most unusually, had more hits in his first 17 games.
Well, and I think this young man is going to have a better career than one Bo Hart. He's got all the talent in the world. Very exciting to watch. He's got some swagger, too.
We could wear you out with the numbers that he has amassed in just 17 games in the big leagues. And there's a strike from Volquez. It's the kind of start for Yasiel Puig that has people already, Eric, talking about the All-Star game. He is in the first sip of his cup of coffee.
Well, and it really just depends on the criteria for the All-Star game. Now, does he deserve it as compared to other players that have put in the 3 or 4 months? No, he doesn't. But the All-Star game means something, as the winning league gets to host or gets the home field advantage for the World Series. So if I'm a manager and I'm picking players that I think can help me win a baseball game, he's right at the top of the list just because of his versatility, and he can help you in so many ways.
2 balls and 2 strikes to him, batting with 1 away, and a breaking ball misses up around the eyes. As you just saw, Yasiel Puig in the All-Star game is the subject of our MLB on Fox Twitter poll question this afternoon. You can have your voice count. Should Yasiel Puig be at the All-Star game? Should Major League Baseball figure out a way to get players there who may not have been around for the entire season, yet who fans want to see and who, as Eric mentioned, can help their team win? Here's the payoff pitch home from Volquez, and that misses off the corner, ball 4.
Well, Matt, that is only his second walk in 60, now 66 at-bats. That's one of the things. He didn't walk at all in spring training, and he is very, very aggressive.
Here is the San Diego native and ex-Padre Adrian Gonzalez batting with 1 out and 1 on. Puig can run. He's already swiped a couple of bags in his many tries. He's already bouncing around out there like he's Ricky Henderson this afternoon. And Volquez ready to go to work on a tough hitter. A strike to Gonzalez.
Wouldn't be surprised if he runs. Volquez, while on the mound, has only caught 2 of 17 base runners. Grandal hasn't thrown out a player yet this year.
Hanley Ramirez waits on deck. Puig stays put, and Gonzalez chases a fastball up around the eyes. 0-2. 5 years in San Diego. Adrian Gonzalez left here for Boston among all-time franchise leaders in hits, home runs, and runs batted in. In fact, he was real close to catching Nate Colbert for the all-time franchise home run lead before heading to Boston for a very short period of time. And trying to do it to the old uniform this afternoon, but it's Volquez that gets the best of him to start today. A runner on with 2 away. We check the Padres defense, a very good bunch, brought to you by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. Only the Cardinals have a better fielding percentage among National League teams, and there are a lot of plug-and-play defenders for Buddy Black.
Well, we talked at the top of the show, this is a very versatile ball club. You have guys who can play numerous positions, especially in that middle infield. Some of those middle infielders also can play some outfield. Allows Buddy Black to actually have to manage.
So here's Hanley Ramirez now with 2 away, and Puig still at first rather. And a ground ball for Siriaco. He'll go the short way. Volquez strands the 1-out walk. A half inning of baseball underway. Dodgers 0. Padres coming to bat. Sets of swings. Here's how Buddy Black aligns on the Padres starting lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Logan Forsythe has hit safely in 5 in a row. He'll lead off today. Will Venable and Chase Headley follow. Carlos Quentin, the 2-time All-Star, back in the lineup for the first time in a week in left field hitting cleanup. The veteran Mark Kotsay, switch hitting catcher Yasmani Grandal, Alexi Amarista, Pedro Siriaco, and Edinson Volquez rounded out for San Diego. And on the mound for the Dodgers, the 29-year-old right-hander Zach Greinke making his 10th start of the year, and Eric looking for his first road victory of 2013.
Well, you talked a little earlier about the Dodgers struggling on the road this year. One of the main reasons, this guy was supposed to be their horse along with Clayton Kershaw. You see that ERA on the road, almost 7.5.
A strike to Logan Forsythe to make it 1-1. Forsythe 3 for 8 so far in the 2 games in the series. We mentioned the Padres winning Thursday night, winning yesterday, and in fact have beaten the Dodgers in 7 of 11 tries so far this year. 2 balls and a strike. In fact, the Padres have beaten Clayton Kershaw 3 times this year. Just the 3rd team to ever defeat Kershaw 3 times in a season. And by the way, they're probably going to get him a couple of more chances after the All-Star break.
It just has not been able to figure out the Padres at all. And also given up a number of home runs. In fact, all of the home runs he's given up this year, all but one of them have been to the San Diego Padres.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Logan Forsythe. Greinke a quick worker. His 2-2 pitch misses low, and it's a full count to start the afternoon. Last time around for Zach was Sunday in Pittsburgh. He was a 6-3 loser against the Bucks that day. And the 3-2 home to Forsythe is hit on the ground foul. The results for Greinke have been a bit of a mixed bag since coming off the disabled list. 7 starts since coming back from the broken clavicle, the shoulder injury, if you will, sustained when he and Carlos Quentin butted heads in early April. On the ground, a shortstop for Ramirez, and Hanley's on it. There's 1 away. Let's take a look at the Dodgers Scott's defense. Scott's the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball, and it's not as rosy a defensive picture for LA. 56 errors in 72 games. That is the highest error total in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, not good. That's being nice. And there are a number of plays that haven't been made as well. And it just puts pressure on the pitching. It puts pressure on the offense.
Will Venable now with 1 away. Venable 0 for 7 so far in 2 games in the series. Already 10 home runs for the left-handed hitting outfielder. And they'll appeal out to third, and that's where Tim McClellan says he held up.
Those 10 home runs lead the San Diego Padre Ball Club. It's one thing he has brought to the table, along with some magnificent defense.
2 balls and no strikes to him. It is a different looking club, Eric, not only on the field but on the stat sheet. The Padres are hitting for more power than they have in recent ballpark vintages, and this facility enjoying its 10th year already this year. And whether that's some combination of the reconfigured outfield or the work that Alonzo Powell and Phil Plantier have done as hitting coaches, I think all those things combine for what's been a little more dynamic run scoring team.
Well, and I think right now you also have to look at this ball club, and you know that their on base percentage is a little better. They're more patient. I think they're 3rd in the National League in walks. You know, and all those sorts of things allow you to see better pitches, allow you to get that pitch you can drive out of the ballpark, and thus the results, more home runs.
And the 2-2 to Venables taken for a call, strike 3.
See, this is just a fastball right down the middle here, a little on the outside part of the plate. A nice pitch, a good pitcher's pitch. Not much Venable can do with it.
So 2 gone on the bases empty for Chase Hudley, the Padres MVP of 2012. Off to a slower 213 start. He's batting just .222 with 6 home runs and 25 driven in at the start of play today. And the 1-0 pitch home to Headley's in for a strike. Carlos Quentin waiting on deck, and certainly a lot of the pre-series attention went on the potential meeting between Quentin and Greinke today. It was unclear until perhaps early this afternoon if Quentin would play this afternoon. He's had a shoulder problem of his own that has cost him the last 7 days. Though not put on the DL, he had been unavailable, at least in a starter's capacity, until today. 3 balls and a strike to count to Chase Headley. As far as Carlos Quentin and the Padres are concerned, the thing with Greinke and the Dodgers is over. And Greinke and the Dodgers feel the same way, as a matter of fact.
Well, and nobody's going to say anything about it. And I still believe, as a former player, something will be done at some point. Now, whether it's this year or in spring training, Dodgers right now have more pressing issues. They need to win.
Well, there's ball 4 to Headley, and that means our Quentin-Greinke matchup will happen in the first inning today. Well, a predictable response right along party lines. Everybody in Dodger blue booing and putting thumbs down. Everybody in Padre blue going the other direction. And the first pitch from Greinke misses off the plate.
I was hearing a lot of boo and a lot of cue. You know, it just kind of sounded like the same thing.
Kind of like when Lou Whitaker would play in Cleveland. You didn't know what was what.
Boo or Lou?
Yeah. And a quick check-in throw for Headley at first base. Well, let's take you back to the fracas in April 11th. Quentin hit in the shoulder. He charged. Greinke broke the non-pitching clavicle in the ensuing melee. It cost him significant time away, though he came back sooner than expected. And for Quentin, some feel like it contributed to his slower offensive start. It's a ball and a strike here.
Well, you see right there, Zach Greinke has hit him more than once. And as a hitter, it doesn't necessarily mean you can get hit, but they can throw you up and in. Here you see back in the days of the American League Central, getting clipped there on the wrist. See, that doesn't hit him, and that doesn't go on the hit by pitch, but I guarantee you as a hitter, you remember that. There he gets him square. It all gets filed away in the memory banks as a hitter.
Got a lot of energy in the ballpark here at a very early stage because of this matchup and because of all the publicity that it had garnered in LA and in San Diego. A ball and 2 strikes. The count to Carlos Quentin. San Diego looking to strike first again today. 2-2 now. You know, in fairness to Greinke, and Eric, you and I talked to different people around baseball about this particular incident. You get a lot of varying opinions. In fairness to Greinke, Carlos Quentin's been hit by a lot of people. In fact, since 2006, only Chase Utley has been hit by more pitches. 2006 being Carlos's first year in the big leagues when he was a Diamondback. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And there is something to be said about that, but that montage we just showed, it has Carlos Quentin getting hit by Zach Greinke in the past, but it also has a pitch or two that didn't hit him but grazed, okay, or sent a bit of a message. Like I said, we don't know how many of those have taken place over the years. As a hitter, though, Carlos Quentin, I guarantee you he knows how many of those have happened.
The next 2-2 home, and that 2 is fouled away. That was Zach Greinke's 25th pitch in this opening inning. Chase Headley drew the 2-out walk, and that set up the early confrontation here between Greinke and Quentin in the first. That fastball just misses the corner, and it's full. I don't know that Carlos was looking fastball there either.
Well, that pitch is off the plate, but the strike zone has been tight this inning. No question about it. This is definitely a hitter's umpire. Mike Machlinsky back behind the plate tonight.
And the 3-2 home. Swung on and missed. Zach Greinke strikes out a pair. Underway to the second, scoreless in San Diego.
On the truck, Carlos Quentin swinging right through that ball. You see, low and away, he gets that follow through, the extension, the roll of the wrist. Sometimes you can have a nice swing, but you're not going to make contact.
Let me tell you, that shot is on a guy that makes contact and squares it up. You look like a superhero. You miss, and that shot can be very unflattering. Here's Andre Ethier to lead things off in the Los Angeles half of the second. Ethier, Ellis, and Uribe against Edinson Volquez. Scoreless after an inning today. At some point today, Eric, we will reach the time of day where the shadows play a role in the proceedings. It's probably not coming for a little bit, but you can see him starting to creep in there over that Western Metal Supply Company building in the left field corner. And it is an unusual start time for a West Coast game, 4 o'clock local time. And at some point, those conditions may or may not have bearing on the game.
Well, you hope you've already had your 3 at-bats in by the time those shadows creep between the mound and home plate. It will become difficult.
2-0 to Andre Ethier is taken for a strike. Ethier did not play yesterday, given a day off to heal from what's been a troubling knee, a little swelling yesterday. He'd been swinging a hot bat before that day off. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I think the Dodgers really counted on Ethier to be that player he was a few years ago when he won the Silver Slugger, All-Star game representative. You see Mark McGwire and Don Mattingly, 2 great hitting first basemen. But Ethier just has not been able to recapture that year at all. I mean, since he signed that multi-year deal last year, June 12th, 270 hitter, 15 home runs, 57 RBIs.
Grandal sets up on the corner, and the 2-2 pitch misses to fill the count. Already the 3rd full count in an inning plus from Edinson Volquez. Volquez has been a notoriously bad starter throughout his almost 10 major league seasons. Darren Balsley and Bud Black feel like if they can get him through the first and second inning clean, he's going to be in pretty good shape. And in fact, he's gone a long way in correcting those first and second inning control issues. It's something that he's aware of. There have been different strategies employed. You start him a little earlier in the bullpen pregame. You start him a little later in the bullpen pregame. But what it comes down to, according to his outstanding pitching coach, is fastball command. Pure and simple. And there is ball 4 to Andre Ethier, the second walk this afternoon by Volquez. This afternoon's telecast is sponsored by Ford. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. And by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Leadoff base runner aboard. Now it's the second baseman, Mark Ellis. Ordinarily, you'd think that getting that leadoff hitter on base is a great start toward winning a ball game. Was not the case yesterday for the Dodgers. They had their leadoff hitter on board 7 of the 9 innings and scratched out only 2 runs to show for their efforts.
And I'll take that a step further. Outside of the first inning, they did not get a runner to second base until the 8th. I mean, that's ridiculous, and especially as you mentioned how many opportunities they had by getting the leadoff runner to first.
Ball and a strike to count to Mark Ellis. Well, 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position will do that to you, and that was the Dodgers equation a night ago. And again, we could numb you with some of the stats as to the pace the Dodgers are on for run scoring futility. Only the Marlins have scored fewer in the National League. But you have to think, and this is where I ask you this plainly. With your career in the Dodger uniform and in your time in the game, flip over the backs of the baseball cards. Look at the names on the lineup sheet. There's no chance this can continue. I mean, that's the good news, bad news. Am I right about that?
Well, you wouldn't think so, but sometimes there are situations like, again, those backs of the baseball cards were in different environments, different situations, different players hitting around you.
The 1-2 home to Ellis. Little chopper back to Volquez. He thought about the lead runner. Instead, he's happy throwing out Ellis, a runner at second with 1 away. Other teams in action in the NL West today include the San Francisco Giants. Let's go to Greg Amsinger back at the MLB Network studios for a game break.
Matty, thank you. What a series here between the Fish and the Giants. In the 11th, bases loaded. Hector Sanchez, you are a hero. Ends the ball game. The Giants beat the Marlins for the first time in AT&T Park in their last 10 tries. 2-1 the final. Matty V, Eric, back to you at San Diego.
All right, Greg, thanks. And, I know that there are a lot of people that kind of poo-poo the Marlins as you take a look at the standings in the NL West. San Francisco 2.5 back of the Diamondbacks, tied with these Padres. But in the NL East, easy to look past the Marlins because of the shedding of payroll, the fire sailing, if you will. Here's Juan Uribe first of all. Another chopper. Volquez will try for the lead runner this time and get him at third base.
Well, 2 things right there. You know, Ethier going to third wasn't smart, but what was even not so smart was Volquez throwing to third, but it worked out for him right there. Headley wasn't going there. He wasn't going to go get to third base and expect to throw. Volquez should have just taken the easy out at first. So then you've got 2 outs. You're pitching with a guy on third, but you've got the 2 outs. He risked having a very big situation where he could have had first and third with only 1 out. He was fortunate.
Instead, a runner at first with 2 away now for the catcher, A.J. Ellis. Just to close the thought on the Marlins. There is at least 1 scout in the ballpark today who feels like with Giancarlo Stanton healthy, with Logan Morrison back in the lineup, and with some pretty good young pitching, the Marlins might not turn into that doormat team everybody expects them to be after the All-Star break.
Well, the only thing you could say to that, though, is the trade deadline may impact that team as well, because you're going to lose some of those players. And if that team stays comprised as it is now through the rest of the year, I would agree with you, because they do have some young arms. Stanton's one of the best young players in the game, but I just don't see them holding on to everybody.
Well, there are two teams in the NL West on the field right here that'll be in the pitching market in the next handful of weeks as we get into the trading deadline at the end of July. Here's the 2-strike pitch home, and it misses high to Ellis. A ball and 2 strikes. That's something we'll get into a little later on in the telecast. Well, the Giants will be in the starting pitching market. San Diego has financial flexibility. The Dodgers have money to burn. And there might be some starting pitching changing uniforms headed west in the coming weeks. And a called strike 3 taken by A.J. Ellis. Edinson Volquez minimizes a leadoff walk. Scoreless in San Diego.
Giveaway outs if you're the Dodgers. We talked about it at the top of the show. The defense has not been good. Got to catch the ball. Padres, it's a team effort. You just can't concentrate on one part of their ball game. Everybody contributes. That's why they have the best record in the National League for the month of June.
This game's still looking for its first base hit. There have been base runners aboard via the walk. Here's Mark Kotsay leading things off in the San Diego second. Kotsay, Grandal, and Amarista. Kotsay at 237. He has for the last number of years been one of the better role players and pinch hitters in the National League, and has bounced around quite a bit since leaving Oakland at the end of the 2007 season, that is, including coming back to San Diego, a place he called home for 3 years in the early 2000s. Popped him up. Juan Uribe in foul territory, and there's one gone. Today's telecast presented by Ace Hardware is sponsored by Bud Light Lime-A-Rita and introducing new Strawberry Rita. You say I treat you to a Strawberry Rita after the Wago here.
Who's Rita? Rita?
There's Yasmani Grandal with one away. Grandal did not play yesterday in Game 2 of the series. 2 for 3 in the opener on Thursday as he takes a strike. The switch hitting catcher who burst upon the scene last year with home runs from both sides of the plate before he could even settle into his locker. And on one hop, he is retired for out number 2. So 2 gone, bases empty now for Alexi Amarista. It's time for the Own Your Space pitcher profile, brought to you by Avis. The last handful of starts for Zach Greinke as we talk about his road numbers. 0-2 with a 7.45 ERA. Started here back on April 11th, and that was when things started to go bad. In fact, as he authors a strike to Alexi Amarista, before this series began, Don Mattingly told the LA Times, "We just have been kind of a mess since that night here in San Diego." Dodgers were 6-3, kind of plugging away, doing what everybody expected him to do atop the division. And then that second week of the season matchup here, Greinke, Quentin, and things have been kind of snowballing the wrong direction ever since.
Yeah, you know, I think that's just a point in time that you pick. I'm not so sure, though, that you could focus it on Greinke getting hurt, or because there have been so many things that have gone wrong for the Dodgers. You know, besides the fact that they just haven't played well. I mean, that's the number one thing. You can use the injuries as an excuse. You can talk about a lot of things, but guys just have not played well. I mean, that's the bottom line. They have not played well.
You know, and to Don Mattingly's great credit, he does not offer up injuries as an excuse at all. We asked him today before the game. He said, "We're healthy. We're not going to complain." Well, you and I both know they're not healthy, but Don Mattingly doesn't want to put that out there, that he's hiding behind this injury veil.
No, I think he's been very upfront, and more than anything, I mean, he could have easily buried some of the guys on this ball club with the types of seasons that they're having and the expectations. I mean, for the most part, he has been very protective. He's been a player's manager.
Chopper to second base. The sure-handed stylings of Mark Ellis has it for a 1-2-3, bottom of the second. Baseball Night in America returns to San Diego after a word from your local Fox station. We'll talk about Yasiel Puig with Padre Yonder Alonso. This afternoon's Cuban Connection in San Diego next. Dodgers and Padres scoreless as we start the top half of the third. Zach Greinke, then the top of the order, Schumacher and Puig. Again, this ball game still looking for its first base hit. There have been a couple of walks on the line, nothing more. And the first offering to Zach Greinke misses low, as we are very pleased to be joined by a guy who hopes to be on the mend and back out there very soon. Padres first baseman Yonder Alonso. Yonder, thanks for the time. And, let's start by talking about the hand injury. How's it feeling, and when do you think you're going to be back out there?
The hand injury is actually going pretty well for us right now. A couple of doctors I've talked to so far, I'm going to go see them on Monday. We're going to do another CAT scan, and they think I should be back within a week or two. So it's been pretty good right now so far.
What happens when you get the cast off? Will you go out on a rehab assignment for a period of time? Do you just work out here and then get right back into the lineup?
Yeah, well, I've been doing everything possibly I can possibly do to my hand right now. I know I've been taking ground balls, getting ready. The only thing I'm missing right now is swinging the bat, but I think that should come fairly quickly, and just enjoying, obviously, as much as I can, being on the DL and just rooting for my teammates. But I think as soon as I come off this cast, I should be able to play within a week or so, maybe less.
2 balls and 2 strikes. The count is Zach Greinke leading things off here in the top half of the third. And a called strike 3. Zach thought that was upstairs. And it's the third strikeout for Edinson Volquez. Well, Yonder, we're taking a look at your hero reel here. Some of the things that you've done in this ballpark this year. In fact, this is your second year as a Padre. And we're looking at some of your power here. And I want to ask you about this because everybody has said this about you, even back to your days at the U, that you're a guy that is capable of 15-plus home runs in a season. Mm-hmm. It looked like you were on that kind of pace this year before the injury. How much of that are you trying to hit for power, and how much of that is just your game evolving?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I did a lot of homework this offseason. And one of the guys that helped me out big time was Chase Headley. He kind of told me a little bit of. Here we go.
That's into the opposite field and foul.
Yeah, he was talking to me a little bit on my intent to swing the bat, and one of those biggest things was not so much going the other way or just getting my hits, but in situations of the games, kind of go for it and see if you can drive a ball. And luckily for me, early in the year, it's been happening, and obviously it's a lot of fun when the field is obviously a lot smaller and the ball it's jumping out right now.
Hey, have you changed your hitting philosophy from last year to this year because of the dimensions of the field?
Not so much. I think I've just gotten a little bit more smarter and mature with my hitting. And obviously this is my second year now, my full second year in the big leagues. So I'm getting a feel of what pitchers are trying to do to me. And the staff is just here so great with Phil Plantier and Alonzo Powell, the hitting coaches. They're always on top of me, and they're just trying to perfect my swing as much as possible, and hopefully it carries over to the game.
2 balls and 2 strikes as we're going to put up some information for the folks at home, Yonder. 3 things you need to know about Yonder Alonso. Born in Cuba, came to the U.S. when you were 10, played third base at the U, and you were a criminal justice major in college. Any plans to pursue that when your baseball days are over?
Maybe. For right now, I'm just focused and locked in on baseball, but I know I had to promise my mom that I would go back and get my degree, so I have to keep that promise. You know how moms get, so I have to make sure I'm on top of it as soon as I'm done playing.
Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Skip Schumacher. Yasiel Puig waiting on deck, and here's a payoff home from Volquez. Swung on and missed. That's 4 punch-outs for Edinson so far this afternoon.
Got good stuff today.
Well, that'll bring up Yasiel Puig, and Yonder, I guess it's nice to have you on with us when a fellow Cuban is at the plate. You have to be among those that watch this guy and just kind of wonder where his skills come to an end. He's been a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, he has. He's a special guy. Obviously, right now he's getting ready to hit, but he's a specimen. He's 6'3", 245. He's got raw power, and he's just a gifted ball player. He's a guy that plays really hard all game, and he brings a lot of energy to that team, that ball club. So, he's a guy that I saw actually play in Cuba a little bit. So, he's doing a lot of things he did in Cuba, and now he's doing them here. So, I think he's going to evolve as a player and as a hitter, and just his all-around game will just get better and better.
Are there many players, many of your peers that you'll stop to watch, or you know, this guy obviously is one of them, but are there any other guys that you kind of marvel at?
Oh, there's so many guys out here in the big leagues, but you know, one of those guys that I definitely look up to and actually see play quite a bit is obviously Adrian Gonzalez on the opposing team. He's a guy who's a first baseman, obviously he's a left-handed hitter, and just his approach and the way he goes about things is pretty special.
That's out to right center field. More than enough room for Alexi Amarista. 1-2-3 third. And a thanks to Yonder Alonso for joining us this afternoon. Get well quick, Yonder.
Thank you, guys.
For the time.
Thank you for having me.
Bottom of the third, he'll get Pedro Siriaco, Edinson Volquez, and then the top of the order, Logan Forsythe for San Diego. Zeros across the scoreboard, 2.5 innings into the afternoon. Pedro Siriaco, the ex-Red Sox and the newest San Diego Padre, 3 for 7 so far in the series. And just another player, Eric, as we continue the theme of versatility for Buddy Black, who the Padres feel like they can plug and play at one of a number of positions.
Well, and he's come in and he's had some, you know, what little bit of time he's had success. Had a big triple the other night, a home run as well. Playing a nice shortstop.
There's a fastball taken for a strike.
You know, I think when you look at this Padre ball club and you look up and down the lineup, all of these guys, they've got something to prove.
That's tapped out to the second baseman, Mark Ellis, one away. Well, Zach Greinke doing his thing. We asked Don Mattingly about the start he's off to between innings.
Yeah, it is. It looks like he's hitting his spots pretty good today. He's had a little bit of some command issues of just being off the plate. It looks like he's getting sharper and sharper. And looks like he's hitting those corners today.
Well, obviously, if we've been following the Dodgers this year, a lot of injuries. Give us an update on what Matt Kemp is doing and when you expect him back.
Matt Kemp went to Albuquerque today, and he'll be DHing tonight. Probably 3 to 4 games down there, and expect him back. So he's getting close for us. Once we get Matt back, we're pretty much at full strength. We're still missing Carl, but Full boat out in the outfield right now with Yasiel back. Yasiel with us.
Donnie, thanks for the time. And it hasn't just been position players as Edinson Volquez swings and misses. I mean, talk about Matt Kemp, Carl Crawford. How about the pitching that's on the shelf? Greinke is back, of course, as is Chris Capuano. He'll go tomorrow. Chad Billingsley lost for the year. Ted Lilly has not been able to contribute. And there's really no timetable set on Josh Beckett.
Now, and remember, this is a ball club that in spring training was worried about having too many starting pitchers. 8 guys. Aaron Harang was on the ball club, now with Seattle. And they didn't know how was that going to manifest itself, how was it going to work itself out. Well, now, they've been in a situation where they've had to call kids up from the minor leagues.
A strike to Logan Forsythe, who's quickly behind 0-2. I think both general managers of these clubs, both Josh Burns and Ned Colletti of the Dodgers, believe in surplus. A very quick good morning, good afternoon, good night to Logan Forsythe. Still scoreless. You're watching Baseball Night in America, presented by Ace Hardware. Fan cam caught fans here at the ballpark who were excited about Fox Sports 1. They're living it up at the Park in the Park, America's new sports network, coming this August. Fox Sports 1. Adrian Gonzalez leads things off in the Los Angeles half of the fourth. The meat of the order for LA, Gonzalez, Ramirez, and Ethier against Edinson Volquez. It's been a starting pitching clinic so far. Both right-handers have struck out 4. Neither have allowed a base hit. But in fact, we're still looking for somebody to get past first base. Two balls and no strikes. The count to Adrian Gonzalez. Edinson Volquez is no longer the mini Pedro that he was called early in his career. I think every hard-throwing right-hander, or at least every good stuff right-hander that comes from the Dominican Republic, is compared to the great Dominican ace. A Tommy John surgery, some veteran wear and tear. And Edinson does not have the devastating changeup that ushered him into the big leagues 9 years ago, but still competes. And if that fastball location is where it's been this afternoon, has the ability to win ball games. The 2-1 to Gonzalez, up around the eyes and fouled straight back.
The thing that's been impressive so far is when Volquez does miss, he's not missing over the heart of the plate. He'll miss high, he'll miss outside, he'll come in a little bit.
He's walked 3 so far this afternoon. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Adrian Gonzalez. Couldn't hold up, and that's the second time Gonzalez has gone down on strikes today. So 1 gone for Hanley Ramirez, who along the course of coming in with 9 hits in his last 14 at-bats, hit this laser beam home run earlier in the week at Yankee Stadium.
You think that thing just shoots off the top of the wall. As you mentioned, a laser beam. Had a great day. 6 for 8 in that doubleheader. Don Mattingly telling us today that Hanley's good to go. He's healthy. He's past the hamstring issues, and Dodgers are ready to ride him.
First pitch to the former National League batting champion is fouled away. Ramirez, a 3-time All-Star, who was a part of that huge talent acquisition last year after the All-Star break in Los Angeles. One that, you tell me, Eric, set some really high expectations for this team.
Well, I think there are a lot of expectations, or there were expectations for this ball club, especially in spring training with the group of players that the ownership had assembled. You look at the names, and I'll go back to spring training. I was a coach in the Dodger organization for 4 or 5 days, a guest coach, and I had an opportunity to see these guys. And for me, Hanley Ramirez was really the key. This guy was running like he was 10 years younger. He's hitting the ball hard. And I don't know if it was just getting ready for the WBC or what, but he was really looking like an all-star player. Starts off the season on the disabled list because of that thumb injury. And I think that's where it all started to kind of unwind for the Dodgers this year.
Behind 0-2 here with 1 away. Bases empty, top half of the 4th. That's bounced to Forsythe near the bag, and there are 2 gone. Chevrolet, the official vehicle of Major League Baseball, is celebrating a new season for new memories. For your chance to win a community field makeover and an all-new 2014 Impala, visit ChevyBaseball.com. 2 quick outs for Edinson Volquez, and that'll bring back Andre Ethier for the 2nd time today. I think what's additionally discouraging, and you can cut up a losing record like that of the Dodgers in a number of different ways. We've talked about how they've struggled on the road. June has been particularly unforgiving. But what might give fans most pause is their record within the division. Just 9-23 against teams in the NL West.
Yeah, they haven't fared well at all. And it's not as if the teams in the NL West are dominant teams.
1-0 to Ethier. Sharply hit, but right at Logan Forsythe. And it's another quick 1-2 third inning for Edinson Volquez. He's retired 7 in a row. Carlos Quentin bats 3rd as we go to the bottom half of the 4th. Scoreless. Will Venable leads things off in the home fourth. Venable, Headley, and Quinton. A 0-0 ball game. Either side were looking for their first base hit today.
Manny, we talked about the dimensions here and how the fences have moved in. You see right here, this is where the fence used to be. Right along this line back here. They have now moved in almost 11 feet. And that's made a difference. It made a difference for a hitter like Venable right now. 10 home runs already. And you can see where that rooftop part is. This is where it used to be, right out there. That's a lot further. That's a bit of a poke out there. It does make a difference.
Here's a swing and a miss, and Venable goes down on 3 pitches. The second time Greinke has struck him out in as many tries today.
You see this pitch just dropping out of the zone. Again, Greinke having good stuff, able to locate, moving the ball around. See, this is, I mean, it's a good swing. Just swings over the top of the baseball. Head was down. Just excellent movement on the baseball by Greinke.
Chase Headley now with 1 away, and the base is empty. You know, the change to the outfield, and it had been discussed here for a while, and the current team management, team president Tom Garfinkel, and the rest of the folks that run Padres baseball made the decision to change that dimension. And it has been a decision that's been applauded by both sides of the scorecard. You'd think that the pitching staff might bemoan it. That's not been the case. They still feel like this ballpark plays fair. And from a fan standpoint, aesthetically speaking, one man's opinion, I think it looks a lot better.
No, it does. It really looks nice. And as you mentioned, you know, the pitchers, this is still a tough place to hit. And one of the reasons you have to bring in the fences is if you think you're going to lure any type of free agent hitter to come to this ballpark, you're going to have to make it a little bit enticing. If it's just Death Valley, I don't care how much I'm getting paid, I'm not coming here to play. Seattle did the same thing at their ballpark.
Headley lays off a 2-1 pitch. It misses low, and it's 3 balls and a strike now. The Mets did it earlier. They did it last year, and in fact, in all 3 of the facilities where the fences have come in, the offensive numbers predictably have gone up. Albeit incrementally, they have gone up.
That makes sense, though, right, Matt?
You'd hope.
You would think.
I mean, if it wasn't happening, you'd think something was wrong. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Chase Headley. Still a full count. See, since June 4th, San Diego and Oakland lead the big leagues in home runs.
I don't think either one of those teams would you'd guess as being home run hitting teams.
And Chase Headley has the first base hit of the afternoon.
Headley's a guy that obviously had a real nice season last year, and just for a number of reasons hasn't been able to get on track. You see the head down, back elbow close to the body, makes contact, palm up, palm down.
A runner aboard for Carlos Quinton, a strikeout victim in the first. Carlos Quinton is the only Padre to have an at-bat with a runner on base, and he has another one here. Headley on with 1 away. Quinton, as we mentioned, had not played in a week. He was a scratch from the lineup a week ago today against the Diamondbacks due to left shoulder soreness, and as you can see by that split, he had been hot at the time he became unavailable. One of a number of San Diego natives on the field this afternoon, and now he's behind 0-2.
You know, I think think right now this is a type of count where it gets interesting because you've got the hitter 0-2, a guy like Quinton that crowds the plate. And I don't care if you're Greinke or anybody else, you've got to go in hard. You've got to establish that inside, whether it's this pitch or the next pitch. But because of the history, does Greinke stay away?
Another check-in throw for Headley. Well, both managers echoed the same sentiment when we talked about this situation with them today, and that is if somebody's hit today, it is almost certainly to be an accident. I don't think either team is anxious to relive what happened in April. The Dodgers in particular. I mean, they just got through this kind of nonsense with the Diamondbacks. And for those that think, yeah, it's a brawl that gets a team going and galvanizes you, well, it hasn't happened, and the Dodgers have had a couple of notable brawls already this year. A ball and 2 strikes to Carlos Quinton.
See, this becomes interesting because as a hitter, if you're Quinton, you're maybe thinking, you know what, there's no way he's going to come inside because he doesn't want to hit me. So now am I diving out over the plate? That's why I said he's got to go inside.
And Quinton couldn't hold up on 2 strikes. That's the second time Greinke struck him out today.
So that's interesting because if I'm hitting in that situation, I'm thinking there's no way Greinke's going to come inside of me at all today. I don't care if it's 0-0, 0-2, whatever, because he doesn't want to hit me. I'm taking away that middle outer part of the plate. I'm looking away. Quinton right there fooled in that situation.
Zach Greinke has used that big breaking ball a couple of times this inning for big strikeouts. He got Venable to start the inning on that pitch, and now Quinton to make for 2 away. Here's Mark Kotsay now. Kotsay fouled out to start things in the second. A lot of people had asked Carlos Quinton prior to this series, about the potential meeting once again with Greinke, and that was before it was even clear that he'd be available today. And Carlos didn't really want to expand on anything. There was a conversation that he had with Greinke in the aftermath of the skirmish. And I think both sides prefer that stay private. Zach Greinke certainly hasn't wanted to talk about it very much. But there was contact made. They did have a discussion, contrary to popular opinion. It wasn't like they just kind of festered privately and couldn't wait for a chance to get at each other again. They talked. One would assume that they placated each other, at least temporarily, and they'll go on with their seasons. A ball and 2 strikes, the count to Mark Kotsay.
Well, I don't think Carlos Quinton meant to hurt Zach Greinke. I think he meant to send a message, but I don't think he meant to go out and break his clavicle. And that was just a result of what happened.
Ball and 2 strikes on Mark Kotsay. The switch hitting catcher Yasmani Grandal next. 1 base hit this afternoon. We'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching tonight's broadcast in 175 countries on AFN, the American Forces Network. Thanks to all you do. And a swing and a miss by Mark Kotsay. A season-high tying 7 strikeouts for Zach Greinke through only 4 innings today. On to the 5th, still scoreless. baseball in San Diego this afternoon. Back with Eric Karros, Matt Vasgersian, Mark Ellis, Juan Uribe, and A.J. Ellis will try to get the offense started for Don Mattingly here in the 5th. A little work going on for Hanley Ramirez as we start things here, and Mark Ellis is backed up with a breaking ball for a strike. Now, the Dodgers have had a couple of base runners today. Walks to Yasiel Puig and Andre Ethier. They are yet to have a base runner past first this afternoon. A ball and a strike to count to Mark Ellis. One never knows what one will see on the Dodger lineup card when you get to the ballpark a few hours before first pitch, and I think the players echo that as well. That's sharply hit for Chase Headley, and one away to start the 5th. A reminder, next Saturday on Baseball Night in America, Chris Davis looks to stay hot as the Orioles host Robinson Cano and the Yankees. Some will see the Reds in Texas to take on the Rangers in an interleague matchup, or Cubs Mariners, Tigers Rays, or Brewers Bucks. Baseball Night in America presented by Ace Hardware next Saturday, 7 Eastern, only on Fox.
You back in studio next week?
Indeed.
Well, you'll be heading out and seeing me in Cubs Mariners.
Is that where you'll be?
Contest. Yes.
In Seattle?
Absolutely.
Get there a couple days early, have some seafood. Here's Juan Uribe now with one gone. Yeah, it's back to the studio for me, so I'll see you on TV. Be next to Harold.
You guys do a great job. Look forward to watching you every weekend.
You know, it's fun. It's fun sitting in there and keeping eyes on 5 games at a time. As hard as that may be to do.
I'm sure all positive comments too, right?
Always. 2 balls and no strikes to count to Juan Uribe. A couple of hits last night for the veteran third baseman. A lot of the mathematicians, and we were talking about the lineup combinations a moment ago as Volquez falls behind 3 balls and no strikes. They have figured out the pace that the Dodgers are on for different lineups used. No team has used more different lineup combinations than LA, as Uribe draws a 4-pitch walk. So much of this number, 69 different lineups used by the Dodgers, is due to injury, and Don Mattingly made that clear. If he had a fully healthy unit, while not using that as an excuse, he wouldn't need to go to 69 different lineups in 72 games.
Well, and you look at those 3 teams, Dodgers, Seattle, and Miami, all having very successful years, correct? I mean, it just goes to show you. And Bud Black was telling us prior to the game, he'd love it if he just had 7, 8 guys that you could just put in the lineup every single day.
Here's A.J. Ellis now. Volquez out of the stretch once again, and the first pitch home to Ellis misses outside. That's 5 straight balls from Volquez. Yasmani Grandal goes out to have a chat. This is one of those things for Volquez, as we visited with his pitching coach Darren Balsley before the game. He can be swimming through the first 3 2/3, 5 2/3 at whatever point in the ball game you want to discuss, and fastball command will mysteriously evade him. Something he's aware of, and something that it looks like he's trying to fight through here in the 5th. That's 6 straight balls.
Yeah, another ball or 2, and that's got to warrant a trip from Darren, the pitching coach. Again, you're at the bottom of the lineup here. Want to make these guys hit their way on.
Zach Greinke due up next, and there's a strike. 2-1. Volquez has never been a guy whose command has been world renowned. He's made 137 career starts coming into today. In only 4 of those has he not walked a batter. He's walked 4 today. And another strike to put Ellis even at 2-2. A sold-out crowd making some noise on behalf of the team on defense today. The appeal on the check swing did not go around, says Marty Foster, and it's a full count, 3-2.
See it here in the super slow-mo.
It's a swing in my book, my friend.
Swing. That's a swing right there. Now the umpires don't have the benefit of that shot. Another beautiful shot.
3-2. Uribe stays put. The pitch home, misses outside, and there are 2 runners aboard with 1 away. This year, Fox Sports Supports is proud to partner with Stomp Out Bullying, the leading national anti-bullying organization for kids and teens in the U.S. Stomp Out Bullying focuses on preventing bullying and all forms of digital abuse. It educates against racism and hatred, deters violence in schools and online, and helps at-risk students. To learn how you can help, please visit stompoutbullying.org. Here's Zach Greinke now with runners aboard and 1 away. Zach can handle the bat. 3 for 7 this year with runners in scoring position. Let's see what's asked of him here with 1 away. He's going to give up the bunt early. 0-1.
Well, he's also the type of player, type of pitcher that just because he's showing bunt as a corner infielder, you can't commit too early because he will pull that bat back and swing. But I wouldn't be surprised if he did something like that now.
It's the top of the order. Skip Schumacher waiting on deck. The Dodgers' best chance to get to Volquez is right here in the 5th. Greinke bunting again, and now it's 0-2. Well, do you keep it on with 2 strikes?
I turn around and square, and I let him pull it back and swing. He's very adept to hitting, coming into today, hitting at a 316 clip. You know, Volquez is probably more difficult to bunt than he is hit. You know, and I say that, the ball moving all over, not necessarily a strike. If you're trying to hit, at least to get, you know, you're a little more adept at pulling back or not swinging at a pitch.
Here is the 0-2. And Greinke pulls it back, a ball and 2 strikes.
And he bounced that pitch right there.
Again, the Dodgers at night go 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Greg Amsinger waiting with a game break. Reds and Diamondbacks, as we keep you posted on what else is happening in the NL West this afternoon. A ball and 2 strikes to Zach Greinke. Kotsay charging in from first, and a fastball misses high. 2-2 now. And for Don Mattingly, just an opportunity to put a play on and try to work with something with runners on base is refreshing. The 2-2 home. Not missing by much that time was Volquez, and he sure thought he had struck out Greinke. So it's a full count, 3-2, and the third base coach Tim Wallach was to just refresh Zach Greinke of the situation and the signs.
You know, as anemic as the Dodgers offense has been, and just the way things have gone, I mean, what do you have to lose? I put the runners in motion here and let Greinke swing the bat.
Look at you.
I would. I do that right now.
What are you, Billy Martin?
No, I'm doing that.
Get him, Swinger. Let's see what we got. Greinke scoring around early again. Here is the payoff pitch home. Ball 4. Edinson Volquez has walked. The bases loaded with 1 away as we check in with Greg Amsinger at the MLB Network studios for a game break.
Matty, thank you. After the pitcher, Patrick Corbin, ruined Mike Leake's perfect game in the 6th, the next batter is Gerardo Parra. who tees off at Chase Field. His 7th home run of the year, and it gives the Snakes a 2-1 lead in the top of the 7th. Let's get you back to San Diego with my boy, Matty B and Eric Karros.
Greg, thanks. The Diamondbacks trying to win their 4th in a row and stay perched atop the division. And the Reds have been a tough out for them. Patrick Corbin has been amazing. Diamondbacks wish he could take the ball at more than just once every 5 days.
Yeah, having a wonderful season. You see that 9-0 record. At Diamondback Ball Club, again, very good players. Paul Goldschmidt having an MVP type season, playing first base. Look to see him in New York, the All-Star game.
Well, here's the situation. Uribe, Ellis, and Greinke aboard with only one away. All 3 of the base runners have arrived there via the base on balls. And the first offering to Skip Schumacher misses the corner.
Now, if you're Schumacher, you've got to take a strike. You've got to make Volquez prove that he can throw something over. The last time he struck out, swung at a pitch out of the zone away.
Shadow's particularly challenging here as the mound is almost completely engulfed in shadow. The 1-0, a chopper to second. Forsythe to Siriaco. Back to Kotsay, not in time. And the Dodgers score a run on the fielder's choice ground ball. Not without some controversy. Here comes Buddy Black.
Yeah, without looking at the replay, just seeing it the same as the umpire, I thought he was out easily at first base. Siriaco does a nice job of getting it there, and he's out.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, I saw that from up here. And again, they've got a tough job out there. I'm just, maybe he's looking at the right hand. The right hand is sliding past the bag. The left hand hasn't hit the bag.
Wow.
Maybe Marty Foster thinks that they're both, at the same level. And that was just, you can't say anything. It's just a missed call.
1-0 Los Angeles. Skip Schumacher credited with an RBI. Much to Bud Black's frustration. And now Yasiel Puig bats with runners at the corners.
Well, and that's 2 calls this inning that have gone the Dodgers' way. Marty Foster, again, not calling that check swing on A.J. Ellis. Would have been a strike 3. That play right there at first base. Not endearing himself to the fans, no question.
So Edinson Volquez has yielded a run without allowing a base hit. What the Andy Hawkins is going on out there. And here's Yasiel Puig now. He's walked and flied to right. Trying to pick up an 8-game hitting streak this afternoon. Big swing from the downs. 0-1.
Pitch down and in again. So far early on, the book on Puig, you've got to bust him in and you throw that soft stuff away. When I say in, you've got to come in off the plate. See how far away he stands from home plate.
San Diego bullpen getting busy for the first time this afternoon. And it's 0-2 to Yasiel Puig. Right-hander Brad Boxberger just called up from AAA Tucson. Padres making a pair of moves after last night's win. As Boxberger comes up with Anthony Bass. Clayton Richard placed on the 15-day DL with the shoulder problem that limited him to 2 pitches yesterday. And Jeff Decker was sent back down to AAA Tucson today as well. Swing and a miss. Well, the 3 walks end up costing Volquez a run. Middle of the afternoon, and the Dodgers have a 1-0 lead.
bat. You're starting in off the plate. And again, the book is you've got to go in. This one's got at the corner of the plate. He fouls it off. And then what does that do? That opens up the outside part of the plate. Because as a hitter, Puig's thinking inside, inside. Boom, they go out. I mean, that's going to be the pattern. Now, whether pitchers can continue to execute, that's another story. But that's the way you have to approach him now.
Yasmani Grandal leads things off in the 5th inning for San Diego, trailing by a run. Los Angeles scoring without the benefit of a base hit. It reads as a most unusual line for Edinson Volquez. 6 strikeouts, 5 walks, no hits, and a run. A ball and a strike to count to Yasmani Grandal. There's that big curveball that's been so effective for Greinke today. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Grandal, Amarista, and Siriaco. That's a chopper in play for Adrian Gonzalez. And 1 away. Today's telecast presented by Ace Hardware is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. One away for Alexi Amarista. Amarista did not start yesterday. 1 for 4 in the opener on Thursday. Came from the Angels in exchange for Ernesto Frieri in one of those win-win, both team benefits trades. The Angels looking for bullpen help. The Padres at the time had quite a bit of talent there. San Diego looking for some versatility in the infield.
Well, Mike Scioscia taking Frieri and putting him right in that closer's role. Done a great job.
Breaking ball misses the corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And I don't know that without the Angels, the Dodgers' disappointment story would be bigger. Because that, depending on who you talk to, the Angels are just as, if not more, disappointing this year.
Well, the reality, the best baseball being played in L.A. by the UCLA Bruins. And I'm not kidding you. I mean, they're playing for a College World Series championship on Monday.
So, kids at home, if you had bottom of the 5th for when Eric would talk about his alma mater in the College World Series, you won. That took a little longer than I thought it was going to take. Congratulations for the great restraint. But you're right, by the way.
And the reality is, again, you look at the brand of baseball that UCLA ball club plays. It's defense, pitching, and you don't have to have the dynamite offense. And again, if these ball clubs, especially if the Dodgers, should say, if the Dodgers had any semblance of defense, they'd be a lot closer to 500 than they are right now.
Well, this has been a pitching and defense afternoon as we take a look at the Fox Sports 1 pitching comparisons. America's new sports network coming this August. Greinke and Volquez both been real stingy, although Edinson Volquez has walked 5. We documented that when we went on the air. Volquez led the National League in walks last year. It's not a news story for him. The good news is he trails by only a run. Here's Pedro Siriaco now with 2 out and the bases empty. On the first pitch, off the end of the bat. A long run for both Ellis and Puig, and it's Yasiel Puig to make the catch. Another 1-2-3 inning for Zach Greinke. On to the 6th. 1-0 Dodgers. America is presented by Ace Hardware. Back with Eric Karros, Matt Vasgersian. The shadows have certainly played a role in a pitching and defense afternoon here in San Diego. 1-0 Dodgers. Los Angeles getting a run in the fifth without the benefit of a base hit this afternoon. Adrian Gonzalez, Hanley Ramirez, and Andre Ethier in the sixth. 9 all-star appearances combined, yet so far this afternoon, as has been the case much of the season, as part of the LA lineup has been quiet. Gonzalez has struck out twice. That's 2 of the 6 posted by Edinson Volquez today. And is quickly behind 0-2.
You mentioned that 5th inning, Volquez 3 base on balls.
Here's the home run total we talked about regarding Gonzalez in San Diego. Just missing catching Nate Colbert for the top spot in franchise history.
That's going back a little bit. Those are the original Friar days. Nate Colbert, Willie McCovey, Johnny Grubb, Gene Locklear, Tito Fuentes.
Were those among the teams you growing up in San Diego watched?
Big.
Yeah.
Number 11, Enzo Hernandez in short.
I think he was number 8. Was he 11?
Yeah, number 11 Enzo.
Okay. Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Adrian Gonzalez. There's so much great history between these two NL West rivals, and so many notable milestones that have transpired when they have met. Orel Hershiser breaking Don Drysdale's consecutive scoreless innings record at old Jack Murphy Stadium against the Padres. Of more recent vintage, we take you back to 1996. You were a part of this, Eric. The last series of the regular season, and the Padres went to LA, swept the Dodgers, and got into the postseason dance.
See Trevor Hoffman there getting that final out.
2-2 to Gonzalez is a shot out to left center field. Amarista back, looking up, and that one is gone. The first hit of the afternoon for Los Angeles, and Adrian Gonzalez home run.
Volquez had worked ahead, was 0-2, and then threw a few pitches out, and then Gonzalez gets extension, drives us over the center field wall. Look at that, head down, body behind the ball.
Hanley Ramirez now with a sharply hit ground ball for Siriaco, and that's the first out of the inning. Well, Adrian Gonzalez has done it to the old uniform a lot since leaving here. That home run is 9th of the year, RBI number 46, and it makes it 2-0 LA. Five years as a Padre, and as we showed you, 161 home runs in San Diego sand and blue back in that vintage. An all-star 3 of his 5 years as a Padre. And doing it to the old uniform today. Here's Andre Ethier now with 1 in and 1 away. We mentioned the RBI total for Gonzalez, 46. Since 2007, only 4 players in Major League Baseball have driven in more runs than Adrian Gonzalez. As you take a look at some of the damage he's done against his former team. Two balls and no strikes, the count to Andre Ethier. But there were so many people, Eric, who thought that Adrian Gonzalez in Boston was a match made in heaven. That the monster, that dimension of that ballpark, the smaller yards in the AL East, there were those that predicted Adrian Gonzalez would break a single season doubles record, among others. And it just didn't go down that way.
Well, Boston does that to a lot of ball players. And just because the field may be enticing to you as a hitter, there's a lot of other variables there. One, the pressure of playing in Boston every day, the media, the type of player you need to be successful there, the type of player that Boston envisioned what they wanted him to be. And he put up some nice numbers there. But it just didn't seem to work out for either side.
Here's Mark Ellis with a run in, one away, and one on. And that's the line past Siriaco into left center field. On his way to third is Ethier. He never stopped around the bag at second.
That's really a nice job of base running by Andre Ethier. He's got the play in front of him. You see Ellis drives this ball. Ethier has to hold because he doesn't know if Siriaco's going to catch it. Once he realizes it's by him, he sees Quinton. Quinton is going to his left, and as a right-handed thrower, when Quinton's going to his left, he's going to have to turn, open up his body, and make a throw to third. Ethier recognizes that, never hesitates, and keeps pressing the issue, heads on to third base.
So Andre Ethier, who is guilty of a base running faux pas earlier, hustles an extra bag here. Runners at the corners, a run in, one away now for Juan Uribe, who's been on base in both of his plate appearances this afternoon. Ethier at third, Ellis at first with one gone. And this would be a great time for Don Mattingly, as he told us earlier today, to start the season anew right here with this plate appearance. Dodgers are 1 for 18 with runners in scoring position in this series. And as Mattingly told us earlier, he's been looking for that one day, even that one plate appearance on a micro level, to start momentum moving in the other direction.
Well, and there have been a number of times where they thought that they had that play or that game that was going to be that momentum starter. It still hasn't arrived. As he told us earlier, he keeps thinking that this is going to be the day.
The 1-1 and a ball and 2 strikes to Juan Uribe.
You have to remember that this Dodger ball club, they're in the midst of a 9-game road trip. They were in Pittsburgh, rain in New York, then played a doubleheader on Wednesday, got in about 3 in the morning Thursday to play the Padres. Scott Akasaki, the great traveling secretary of the Dodgers, responsible for getting out here.
Yeah,
not pleasant.
It has not been a forgiving stretch for sure for a team that's had its troubles on the road to begin with. And Uribe fouls that away. Juan Uribe has looked for the last number of years, maybe throughout his career, even when he was in the midst of his younger seasons as a White Sox and a Giant. At times he has looked like he's battling a knee and ankle injury mid-swing. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like that base is always there, but I don't know that it's a function of age as much as that's just his mechanics. And they appeal that one and punch him out. A big strikeout for Edinson Volquez, and they're 2 away.
Well, you see, that one wasn't as bad as the Ellis check, but I think he did go in that situation. Marty Foster right on top of that.
A reminder, this July, baseball's greatest stars gather in the most exciting city in the world for the biggest event of the summer. Baseball's Midsummer Classic returns to New York with home field advantage for the World Series on the line. The 2013 Major League Baseball All-Star Game live from New York, July 16th, only on Fox. Here's A.J. Ellis now with 2 on. find it hard to believe that we are less than a month away from the All-Star game. Who goes from the Dodgers, by the way? Who are the representatives on the field today?
Puig. Puig will go. Somehow or another, baseball will find a way, whether it's through fan voting.
Ellis late, and it's 0-2. Well, we asked you earlier via our Twitter poll question this afternoon if you think Yasiel Puig will get to the All-Star game in less than a month, and 60% of you say yes.
And now that's assuming he continues to play well. I guess that goes without saying, right, Matty?
Well, never hurts to restate the obvious. You and I are pretty good at that. There goes Mark Ellis from first. No throw down by Grandal. And the count is a ball and 2 strikes to A.J. Ellis. The bag for Mark Ellis is first on his first attempt of the year. Now Edinson Volquez creeping up on 100 pitches. This will be his 99th of the start. Brad Boxberger had been up earlier in the San Diego bullpen. Volquez navigated that 3-walk fifth with only 1 run scoring. And it's still 1-2 on A.J. Ellis. Diamondbacks continue to lead at home against the Reds. It's a 2-1 score. The Giants were extra innings winners today at home over the Marlins 2-1. Colorado a winner in Washington 7-1 this afternoon. We try to keep you current on the standings in the NL West. Zach Greinke due up next. The pitcher waiting on deck. Volquez trying not to give in. A ball and 2 strikes, and he wants Grandal to roll over the signs. It's a 2-2 now.
And that's a good pitch. Again, ideally, you want to get this hitter so you have Greinke leading off the next inning. But you've also got a 2-0 ball game, and the more important thing is to keep your team in the game, give yourself a chance to win. If you put Ellis down at first, so be it. If you're throwing a strike, it's got to be one of those things that nibble a corner.
He nibbles and misses, and it's now full 3-2.
I do the same thing right now. You know, I've got to go on a corner, whether it's inside, outside, but it's not one of those, well, let's just throw a strike here.
It's a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to A.J. Ellis. Runners at second and third with 2 gone. And Volquez payoff pitch home. A ground ball up the middle for Siriaco, and it gets through him. That'll score 2. 4-0 Los Angeles.
And it looked like Siriaco lost his footing or was off balance prior to getting to the ball. I think that little stumble may have impacted his ability to field it cleanly. It hits off his glove. See Ellis watching it. A little bobble there. Just didn't look smooth. You know, again, and that's one of those things as a fielder, you've got to know who's running. You've got a slow runner. You've got time.
Here's Greinke now. 3 in the inning. A home run and an E6.
You know, you look at the scoreboard, and it's 4-0. And you know, in reality, Volquez, although he has walked a number this year, today, he's pitched a lot better than a 4-0 score. Should be a 1-0 ball game.
A usually sure-handed defender on what has been a very good fundamental defense team. Guilty of a 2-run miscue. But Pedro Siriaco had a hard time shaking the all-glove, no-bat reputation when he was Boston property. And make no mistake, he's a very good defensive player. But that one cost San Diego 2 runs. 2 balls and no strikes to Zach Greinke. This is a season-high workload now. 106 pitches for Edinson Volquez today, as he falls behind 3 balls and no strikes. And you wonder now how much longer the leash. Brad Boxberger and Anthony Bass, the 2 right-handers just called up from AAA Tucson after last night's game. They're both getting hot in a hurry. 3-1. Well, this might not be the kind of breakthrough hit total that Don Mattingly and Mark McGwire were hoping for. 2. But LA has scored 4 runs. And there's ball 4. That is a career-high tying 7 walks this afternoon from Edinson Volquez. Bud Black comes out scratching away at the lineup card, and he is making a pitching change. A double switch. We'll be right back. Ace Hardware, as we re-welcome you to San Diego in what has turned into kind of a frustrating afternoon for Edinson Volquez. Some of it at his own doing. 7 walks today, tying a career high. However, he was frustrated not only with the strike zone, but with a rare defensive lapse behind him that has contributed into a 4-0 deficit. Padres go to the bullpen for the USC product. The former first-round draft choice right-hander Brad Boxberger takes over. Boxberger was around last year, got into 24 games out of the San Diego pen, had made 5 appearances at the big league level this year. is in his second stint with the big league team, having been recalled after yesterday's win. 2 balls and no strikes is how he starts Skip Schumacher. The other change is a part of the double switch. Chris Denorfia taking over in right, and that moves Will Venable to center field. 3 balls and no strikes.
Do we have Puig coming up with the bases loaded? Huh? A little TV there for you, Matty?
We are a ball away from that scenario. Yasiel Puig waiting next. Here's Boxberger's 3-0. We have now seen in some capacity, because we chatted with Yonder Alonso earlier, all 4 of the players that came from the Reds in the Matt Latos deal. And Skip Schumacher has a base hit into center field. Venable up and throwing home. Not in time as Ellis scores to make it 5-0 LA. The throw to third, not in time on Greinke.
Well, there's that hit with runners in scoring position. Schumacher drives his ball up the middle. You watch his throw here. Ellis doesn't know whether to slide or run in there, and see Puig's back there, but he's not giving him any indication. And what he needs to do is be directly in line with that runner and either telling him to get down, left, right. But forget all that. He's up at the plate now.
And San Diego's in jeopardy of letting this one get away in a hurry. Yasiel Puig. Already 5-0 Dodgers. 4 runs in this frame alone. Credit Schumacher with an RBI single. And it's an error hung on Grandal that gets Greinke to third. The second Padre error of the ballgame. Puig has been quiet today, 0 for 2 with a base on balls. He is the 9th Dodger to bat in the inning. Amazing numbers with runners in scoring position. Amazing numbers any way you slice it through his first 17.5 games as a big leaguer. You know, here's the only discouraging part of the Puig story, Eric. As good as he's been, the team is only 7-10 since he's been here. They haven't fully been able to reap the benefits of his gifts.
Well, I'll go back to what I think has been the biggest downfall of this Dodger ball club this year, and it's been the defense. Again, it's very easy to harp on certain guys or certain aspects, but the defense creates a domino effect. It impacts the offense because they feel like they've got to score more runs. Impacts the pitchers. They're throwing more pitches. Well, Puig can't play all 9 positions.
There's ball 4. Well, one of the runners still out there is the responsibility of Edinson Volquez. A single and a walk on Boxberger's watch, and now it's the guy that started this whole mess here in the 6th inning. Earlier this frame, Adrian Gonzalez, 9th of the year, made it 2-0 Dodgers. And Gonzalez will have another plate appearance in this 6th inning.
Has a chance to hit a home run. 2 in 1 inning.
Were you still playing when Fernando Tatis hit the 2 grand slams against Chenho Park?
Was I still playing?
Were you there for that?
I was standing at first.
That had to have been something to watch.
The amazing thing wasn't necessarily the 2 grand slams in the same inning. It was the fact that it was off the same pitcher.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, you gonna leave that guy out there? All right. Anyhow, here we go.
Here's the 1-1 home. Gonzalez checks a swing, 2 balls and a strike. Oh no, they appeal down to third base, and Tim McClellan says, I've seen enough of this movie. It's 1-2. Yeah.
You see right there, he went.
Boy, that's super slow-mo. I'll tell
That's
you.
awesome. It
It's
really is.
That's like high def for announcers. You're never going to look that good.
No.
Swing and a miss, and that puts an end to a 4-run Dodger inning. 5-0 LA.
And only to watch Kevin Franzen walk it off with this home run to left. The Phillies are still 3 games under 500. They beat the Mets 8-7. Let's send it back to Matt Vasgersian and Eric Karros in San Diego.
And it is a beautiful day here, Greg, for baseball at the Park beyond the center field fence. Sold out crowd here today. Of course, the Dodgers always a big draw with this Southern California rivalry. Tony Gwynn statue, Mr. Padre emblazoned forever out there. It's a gorgeous afternoon to watch National League West baseball. Chris DeNorfia's first plate appearance of the game results in a first pitch base hit. Well, we haven't had a chance to talk about Chris in the midst of a really big season, being given a chance to play full time. 3 things you need to know about a guy who played for Team Italy during the World Baseball Classic. Went to the same high school as John F. Kennedy. Graduated from Wheaton. He's a Wheaton man. And majored in international relations and Hispanic studies. And no sooner can we talk about 3 things you need to know about him than he is doubled up on the very next pitch. 2 gone in the last of the 6th. It's a good thing we got that in.
Well,
we would
not
never,
a lot of time. We've been in trouble.
We would never have known those 3 things. Here's Will Venable now, a strikeout victim twice, as we take another look at the Mark Ellis turn. A strike delivered to Venable. Zach Greinke working with a 5-0 lead, coming right after the Padres here in the 6th inning.
Now, he's not trying to hit corners or anything. It's just let's go, which is the way you have to pitch. You got a 5-run lead. You want to get your club back in the dugout.
We talked about the results Greinke has had since being reactivated. And in the 7 starts leading into today, 2-2, 5.02 ERA. This, without question, has been his best since coming off the disabled list. And he makes very quick work of the Padres in the last of the 6th. On to the back third tonight. All Dodgers in San Diego. Brad Boxberger will continue here in the top of the 7th inning. You'll get Hanley Ramirez, Andre Ethier, and Mark Ellis for Los Angeles. Dodgers on top 5-0. Hanley Ramirez 0 for 3 so far today. Started play with 9 hits in his previous 14 plate appearances. Wow, look out in the third base coaching box, Tim Waller.
That's going to leave a mark. And you look at where Tim Wallach is standing, too. He's not in that designated area of the coaching box. Way out of it. Hopefully out of harm's way, but not so in that last one.
One of the more positive developments in terms of personal safety for Major League Baseball the last number of years. Base coaches wearing helmets after the tragic death of Mike Coolbaugh.
And you look at where he stands. Look at that.
Yeah. That's Rene Latchman with Mark McGwire at the plate. That's what that reminds you of, right?
Yeah.
2 balls and 2 strikes. The count to Hanley Ramirez.
Big Mac right there. Hitting coach of the Dodgers.
You know, it's not for lack of hard work, the Dodgers' offensive frustrations. Mark McGwire was here early, well before 11 a.m. Hanley into the corner and gone. Oh my! That might have dislodged a couple of bricks. Oh my goodness! That ball was absolutely crushed. That was into the top tank of the Western Metal Building and still going up.
Well, he's hit 2 incredible home runs. Well, not today, but the other day at Yankee Stadium, that low line drive that looked like a single to left. And then this thing is just a Titanic shot. The only question, would it be fair? Man. When you go to a game and you got seats up there, you're not thinking you're going to get a home run ball.
No. That's just the second ball hit up there this year. Carlos Quentin hit one up there earlier. And forget about what I said about this lodging a couple of bricks. That might have taken the whole building down. Here's Andre Ethier now. Prodigious power. A spray to shortstop for Siriaco. In the dirt, dug out by Kotze. You know, the folks up there in that top basket are still kind of buzzing around like they just had a visit from the Queen. Anybody that had dozed off in a 5-0 game suddenly has a little new spring in their step up there. Here's Mark Ellis now with 1 in and 1 away. So on a day like this, Eric, where things are going the Dodgers' way, and we know that, as Don Mattingly told us earlier, Matt Kemp is DHing tonight in AAA. He's getting closer. And things appear to be a little rosier than they were 3 hours ago. That's popped in the infield for Headley. We can talk a little bit more about the Dodgers' coming months right after we check in with Greg Amsinger for an update. Greg.
Matt, Patrick Corbin 3 outs away from improving his record to 10-0, but Heath Bell couldn't get it out. He walked Phillips, and then Jay Bruce hit his 10th home run since June 3rd. A 2-run shot. It's 3-2 Reds in the 9th. Matt, Eric, over the last 25 batters Heath Bell has faced, 5 have taken him deep. Back to you.
Yeah, Greg, including Giancarlo Stanton earlier in the week to win a ball game. That has been the fatal flaw of the Arizona Diamondbacks this year. They have not been able to find a guy to close ball games.
And that's what I think allows everybody in the NL West to still have hope. Is each team has its flaws. Each team has its areas that, you know what, they're not as strong as they could be. You know, again, nobody is running away. Like I said, the Dodgers are still, quote unquote, in it, not because of anything that they've done, but because what other teams haven't been able to do in the division.
2 balls and a strike. The count to Juan Uribe. Two and 2. We'll get to that conversation on what the Dodgers need to do to unburden themselves of the cellar as we continue next inning. But 9.5 games back at the start of play today. The pace is not very encouraging in terms of a final record. But it's a day like today that I think gives Dodgers fans some real hope.
But as I said earlier to somebody, hope is not a strategy. And that's part of the problem is they've got to actually do something for real. Get something going.
We'll talk about it as we continue. Hanley Ramirez, 3rd of the year. A rather impressive moonshot has padded the Dodger lead at 6-0 Los Angeles. NL or AL allegiance. Don't miss the action of the 2013 All-Star Game Tuesday, July 16th, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 here time, West Coast, right here on Fox. Chase Headley, a broken bat flare to second, gathered in by Mark Ellis's one away. And Zach Greinke has recorded 4 outs on his last 7 pitches. And I'll bring back Carlos Quentin, who so far today has been among the most frustrated against the Dodger right-hander. A couple of plate appearances, a couple of punch-outs.
Well, and what's been interesting for me is Greinke has stayed away from him in every pitch, in every at-bat. Here we go again, setting up outside. He's not even showing anything inside, not going on the inside part of the plate.
Zach Greinke has struck out Carlos Quentin twice today and 7 times in his career. There's a new shortstop put into the ballgame. Nick Punto has been one of the Dodgers' best players all year long. He takes over, giving Hanley a blow for the rest of the afternoon. Up the middle, knocked down by Ellis from his knees. He throws him out, and there are 2 away.
Ellis doing a nice job. He knows what type of runner Quentin is. Gathers the ball, boom.
Today's telecast is sponsored by MasterCard, preferred card of Major League Baseball since 1997, and by Bud Light Lime and Lime-A-Rita, and introducing new Strawberry Rita. Fascinated by this Strawberry Rita. Here's Mark Kotsay with 2 gone.
Get yourself a 6-pack tonight.
Why not? Yeah. Here in San Diego, fish taco, Strawberry Rita. Live like the locals do. Put my feet up, flip-flops. Believe it.
It really is a beautiful stadium. Padres doing a nice job. Sellout today.
Second sellout of the year. A lot of the folks here wearing Padres blue just waiting for something to put their hands together about. This has been a day dominated by the Dodgers. Went quite a while before the first base hit of the ballgame. The Dodgers scoring 1 in the 5th without a base hit, 4 in the 6th, and then 1 on the monstrous Hanley Ramirez home run in the 7th. And Zach Greinke hasn't even needed all that. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mark Kotsay. Another one for Mark Ellis, and another 1-2-3 inning for the Dodger right-hander Zach Greinke. 7 shutout innings and leading the Padres 6-zip. One, America's new sports network coming this August. It has read like a very good day for Don Mattingly and company. 6-0 Dodgers. Zach Greinke's been terrific. He has allowed only 2 base hits and not a whole lot of rally starters for San Diego. Second Padre reliever of the afternoon is right-hander Anthony Bass, who came back up from AAA Tucson, along with Brad Boxberger, who worked the last inning and a third. Face A.J. Ellis, then the pitcher spot, and then Skip Schumacher here in the 8th. So we started to get into this a moment ago, Eric, and I want to pick your brain about it. The fact that, yes, the Dodgers are 9.5 out, and they're on a pace for 94 losses. It's on the ground for Siriaco, and there's 1 away. So to get to the 90-win plateau, and that's just a number that most people assign to having a shot at the postseason in this division, they're going to have to go 60-ish and 30-ish or thereabouts the rest of the way. Is that completely unrealistic, or is that something you think may happen?
Well, all I'll say is you'll have a much better idea come the All-Star break, because they're in a stretch right now where they play 20 of 24 games against teams in their division. And you mentioned earlier how bad they've been, single-digit wins against teams in their division. Now, if that doesn't change, then the ish, you could put that at the beginning of a word, and that's what's going to describe their season.
Okay.
And the thing about it is they've got some guys coming back. Don Mattingly said Matt Kemp, when he's back, that's your team. I mean, I understand Carl Crawford's out, but you've only got 3 outfield positions. The pitching, you hope that this is more representative of what Greinke has to offer. And as you mentioned earlier as well, the back of the baseball cards tell you that these guys are going to produce at some level. I guess the kicker for me is you're already committed. You don't really have an option. This is what you got. You go with it, and you see what happens.
Get ready, fans, for Fox Sports 1, America's new 24-hour sports network. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for great live sports, all the news and highlights you want, shows and specials that only Fox can bring you. America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1, coming August 17th. Well, I'll go back to a time as Skip Schumacher stands in with 2 away. I'll take you to your rookie year. How about that? When the Dodgers went 63 and 99, and the pace that this team is on now, if it were to finish that way, it would be the losingest season of Dodger baseball since that time in 92. There were building blocks in place in 92 for some very good teams, as Schumacher has a base hit. A young Eric Karros, a young Mike Piazza, among other talented players, Raul Mondesi in the fold in those days, and you guys got good. Are there any comparisons that you could build between this group?
No, this team is built to win now. It's not built to win 4 or 5 years from now. You've got the Matt Kemps, Adrian Gonzalez, Crawford. Puig becomes a complement here. It's built to win now. And that's why the organization went out and made some of the trades that they did last year, Hanley Ramirez as well. It's not for 4 or 5 years down the road. And this team can be competitive. Again, it's not so much because I think that they're going to play a lot better, as much as I'm not sure anybody in this division is going to run away with anything. Look, the Padres go out, add a pitcher or 2, get their guys healthy. There's no reason not to think that they can't be competitive the rest of the year.
A ball and a strike to count to Yasiel Puig. But in 92, you guys had some, there were some high-priced, talented, Darryl Strawberry was around then. Was that the
Eric
year that
Davis,
Eric
we had
Davis?
Brett Butler in the outfield. Oh, we'd come off a year in 91 where we lost the division by 2 games to the Giants in the last weekend. But much different scenario here. I think both of these teams are going to be involved come August and September. Padres and the Dodgers.
You're watching Baseball Night in America, presented by Ace Hardware. Sponsored by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball, and by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Back with Eric Karros, Matt Vasgersian. 6-0 Dodgers. San Diego down to their final 6 outs tonight. Yasmani Grandal leads things off. It'll be Grandal, Amarista, and Siriaco. Check that. Grandal, Guzman, and Siriaco. Jesus Guzman coming in on a defensive replacement last half inning. Zach Greinke's been terrific. He has yielded just the 2 hits, a pair of singles. San Diego does not have a base runner past first this afternoon. For the first time, we see some activity up on the bullpen behind Zach Greinke. The right-hander Matt Guerrier up and throwing for Don Mattingly. Two to Grandal, fouled away. I'm always very careful, I think, EK, to make sure I phrase that properly, because the legendary Padres radio announcer, the Hall of Famer Jerry Coleman, along with a very popular Southern California baseball voice with the Angels for many years before he left us, Ken Brett. You get on a highlight reel when you say throwing up in the bullpen instead of throwing in the bullpen. On his way to second is Yasmani Grandal with San Diego's first extra base hit this afternoon. Well, Zach Greinke has been the big story as we say hello from the broadcast booth in the last of the 8th inning. He has not thrown a shutout since his Cy Young Award season of 2009, and I'm not sure if the pitch count will allow for it this afternoon, Eric, but he is going in that direction.
No, he's been dominant all day long, kept the Padre hitters off balance. I think also the lead, that's allowed him to do some things over the last few innings, expanding the zone, being more aggressive. But this is the type of outing that Dodger fans need. I mean, they've long awaited for this, and now they need some consistency. Speaking about consistency and long awaited, how about your return here to the Padre broadcast booth? You toiled here from 2002 to 2008.
Fun. It's been a great A great experience coming back home.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what. You know what I noticed? You got your refrigerator back here still, the one that you brought into the booth. You going to leave with it? You going to bring it back?
Yes. Yes. In fact, I'm having some people put that in the back of my car right now. Mark Grant will no longer be able to chill his energy drinks in the refrigerator that was brought here back in 2004. Jesus Guzman follows up the double with one of his own. And that's how San Diego gets on the scoreboard here in the 8th.
Bud Black told us prior to the game, one of the things that he's admired most about this group of guys is their ability to just constantly compete. And although this game looks like it's over, they're up there battling. They put a run on the board. Got nobody out. And again, this Dodger bullpen has had its struggles this year.
Pedro Siriaco would like to make amends for a 2-run error that he committed earlier this afternoon. Got a chance to knock in a run with a man in scoring position and nobody out. Though that 6-0 hole might seem deep for the Padres, they're aware, as a lot of people are, of the struggles the Dodger bullpen has endured this year. A lunge and a miss by Siriaco behind 0-2 now. Dodger bullpen has blown 15 saves this year. That ties him with the Orioles of all the unlikely candidates for the most in the game. A breaking ball that's tapped back to Greinke. He'll go to first base, and that will advance Guzman to third. 1 away. And it's back to Chris Denorfia now, who singled on the first pitch that he saw after coming on in the 6th inning. And a strike on the corner. Greinke has been on the corners all afternoon. The curveball, the cutter that you just saw. There's a breaking ball that misses off the plate. 1-1 to Chris Denorfia. Top of the order next for San Diego, Logan Forsythe on deck. Two and one.
You know, and this run that the Padres have been on as of late, they've been doing it without Everth Cabrera. Usually their best player, leading the National League in stolen bases, having an all-star type season at shortstop, and it just goes to show you the depth of this ball club.
Denorfia chops that to third. Uribe running down Guzman and applying the tag to second now. Denorfia safe there.
Well, Uribe doing the right thing once he decides to go after the runner. Just continue to go at him until the runner committed one way or the other. Not so sure I would have done that. You just take the out at first base, but worked out well.
Now Don Mattingly coming out with a "how you feeling, kid?" for Zach Greinke, who's smiling his way toward perhaps sticking around for one more plate appearance. Logan Forsythe scheduled. He's been really no trouble for Zach Greinke today. 0 for 3, and Greinke will in fact stick around.
see Matt Guerrier has company in the bullpen now. As Paco Rodriguez, the hard-throwing left-hander, is up to join him. So here's Forsythe again, 0 for 3 today, and trying to convert on a modest 5-game hitting streak this afternoon. Next pitch by Zach Greinke will be his 110th of the start. He's had only one game with a higher pitch count this year, and that was a 5-0 shutout win over the Atlanta Braves earlier this month. I know we have a tendency in the media to get a little hung up on pitch counts, but this is a legitimate workload this afternoon, up over 110. A breaking ball that's lined into shallow center. Ethier coming on to retire the side. San Diego settles with one in the last of the 8th on to inning number 9, 6-1 LA. Program. Next Tuesday will be one of 6 ceremonies taking place this season. The Padres have a long-standing history of honoring the military and have expanded that to honor all those who serve, including first responders. Terrific program this year. Well, Anthony Bass will continue and face a former Padre, Jerry Hairston Jr., pinch hitting to lead things off in the top half of the 9th. A strike on the corner to Hairston, and it's 1-1. Hairston, Punto, and Ethier here in the 9th. A shallow pop into left. And Mark Kotze, who's changed positions this afternoon, is there to make the catch. Well, the Fan Cave, the MLB Fan Cave in New York City has been a popular destination for the past number of years, and on a recent trip to New York, Yasiel Puig made a visit, played some parlor games, and enjoyed the experience, and in fact created a fan cave video that's been among the more popular productions to come out of that little building. Greenwich Village has been alive with Major League Baseball at the fan cave.
It just seems like Puig's really enjoyed his success up here, his experience, trying to be outgoing, do as many things as possible, mingle with the fans. You need somebody that truly appreciates the opportunity he's been given. I should say that he's earned.
0-2 the count at Nick Punto. Yeah, as hard as a guy like that plays and as young as he is, you might be tempted to believe that he's just, a guy that grinds 24/7. I think he's understanding the experience that he's in the midst of too.
Well, he's got a personality. I mean, he's fun. He likes to interact.
Here is the 1-2 to the San Diego native, Nick Punto. As we mentioned, there are a lot of them on the field today. Carlos Quentin, Adrian Gonzalez, Nick Punto among them. Yasiel Puig is hitless today. In fact, it would be just his third hitless day as a big leaguer. That's a line shot to Guzman. And there are 2 gone. Well, a chance for him to get back on Instagram and send a lot more photos around there. His Twitter handle is @Yasiel Puig. Here he is on the road with CC Sabathia. All this taken on this current road trip. Mariano Rivera, rainy day in the Bronx. And most recently from the hotel room looking at the convention center in San Diego.
Got to give that bottle a break, though, there. The thing's taking a beating.
Andre Ethier into the corner. And that one skips up over the wall for a ground rule double. Andre Ethier's first hit of the afternoon.
Pitch over the middle of the plate. He drives it the other way. He's been swinging the bat better as of late.
So now Mark Ellis, he's 1 for 4 today. Series finale on tap tomorrow. And then after tomorrow's, these 2 teams won't see one another again until after the All-Star break. A 3-game series that begins in the end of August, and then they'll have 3 more the second to last week of the season in September. Big swing and a miss by Ellis, 1-1. For Padres fans, tune in tomorrow on Fox Sports San Diego for the final game of this series. Coverage at 12:30 p.m. Pacific. A ball and 2 strikes on Mark Ellis.
Padres do end up losing today. They'll snap a stretch of 8 straight wins at home. They really have been playing great baseball. I mean, they're bound to have a game like this.
Bounced up over the middle. Siriaco behind the bag. Off balance throw is too late. Play that just took a little bit too long to develop. Runners at the corners with 2 gone.
And that's almost a play where you've got any chance, you've almost got to spin. To get something on the throw right there. Ellis runs decent. Siriaco just caught it way too deep in the infield.
Juan Uribe now 0 for 3 with a base on balls and a run scored today. You talk about the 8-game home winning streak here. And if the rest of the season plays out in similar fashion, As Uribe gives that ball a ride. Denorfia back to make the catch! Wow! That ball was already by him. He looked just like Will Venable in San Francisco earlier in the week.
Makes a catch. You see the Uribe face right there. He's not smiling. Denorfia saying, look what I got. That's some great defense. Padres have been playing solid defense all year long.
The face of the guy he robs just staring him big as life, and he takes it away. We mentioned that it looked just like the catch Will Venable made on Monday in San Francisco. You be the judge. Extra innings. Venable, that ball was behind him. In very similar fashion, two really athletic Padre outfielders making great catches. And today, here's the Venable ball you just saw.
Look at the Uribe face in the background. Look at that. He's smiling. I can tell you, that's the second time Uribe had one robbed the other night here in San Diego. As a hitter, I mean, you like to see great plays. You appreciate that, but not when they're against you.
We talked about this earlier. Only the Cardinals have played better defense from a team fielding standpoint than San Diego. Here's Will Venable leading things off. Oh my goodness. Loses the shillelagh. Little Cliff Johnson thing there, throwing the bat.
See that back elbow tuck, head right on there, and here we go. Let it go. Not enough pine tar on there.
Kenley Jansen, the new Dodger pitcher, tying him up with a fastball that time, and it's quickly 0-2. Well, a chance for Jansen to get some work in with a 5-run lead, looking for 3 outs in the last of the ninth. It's the first appearance for Jansen since last Saturday in Pittsburgh. Well, Rick Honeycutt very aware that his big right-hander needed some work today, regardless of the situation, regardless of a save opportunity or not. And here is big number 74 to work the ninth.
Hard thrower. He is the closer now.
Took that role from Brandon Lee.
Ball and 2 strikes to Will Venable.
You know, Matty, I saw something when we put up this graphic. Look at those teams at the top. You got St. Louis, San Diego, Arizona, Cincinnati. And the point is, if you're catching the ball, you're giving yourself a chance to win, and you're going to be up near the top of your division. And that's where, again, I'm harping on it, but you go to the Dodgers, they can have everybody back. They can have people playing well, but if you're not catching the ball, you're not going to find yourself up at the top.
Well, Chris Denorfia made a great catch earlier today, and in the series opener here against the Dodgers, tumbling into the stands. Let me tell you, that dude plays hard. He's got some Aaron Rowan in him. You know,
he really does. And what I'd say about the Padres is, all of these guys on the team, they all play with a sense of urgency, no matter what time the game is, as far as, you know, if it's the 9th inning and they're down by a bunch, or if it's the 1st inning. And really, that's a compliment to Bud Black and the environment that he's created.
One gone here in the last of the 9th. Chase Headley will make his 4th trip to the plate today. He has walked and singled on the afternoon. Well, it's a day in the National League West when the Rockies have won. The Diamondbacks, by the way, when last we looked in on that one, we saw that Heath Bell had allowed the home run to Jay Bruce to give up the lead. Well, Arizona got 2 in the bottom of the 9th to come back and win.
Is that a Chapman?
That was off Chapman.
Wow.
So the Diamondbacks win, the Rockies win, and the Giants in extra innings win today. That is current and up to date. So San Diego in jeopardy of being knocked out of the number 2 spot in the division. Headley's going to dump a base hit into right field. Time for our Burger King play of the game, brought to you by Burger King, where taste is king. And where the hardest hit ball perhaps of the week belongs to Hanley Ramirez. Into the top basket of the Western Metal Supply Company building.
And only the 13th time in the history of this ballpark that a ball's been hit up there, Matty.
Wow, how'd you get that?
13 times. I got a little history in San Diego. I told you, ever since I dropped that number 11 Enzo Hernandez. Drop a little Randy Jones on you, Johnny Grubb.
Yeah, you had guys in the Padres clubhouse today yelling rival high school phrasing at you. Headley's running, and the pitch to the pinch hitter Nick Hundley is fouled away. Even a blooper looks good slowed down, right?
Well, you know what's interesting? You see the bat, how it actually bends, the ball compresses. I mean, I think for me, the greatest use of this type of camera was in the World Series, where Hunter Pence, as a San Francisco Giant, showed him hitting the ball twice in an at-bat.
Swing and a miss with Headley on the move. He will not be credited with a stolen base there. And it drops to 0-2 on Nick Hundley. The enduring images from last year's NLCS, the Giants and the Cardinals in the rain in San Francisco on that super slow-mo, something that sticks with sports fans still to this day, as Hundley strikes out and the Padres are down to their final out this afternoon. The producer of tonight's game is Larry Lancaster, and the director is Rich Russo. The associate director is Eric Mandia, and the broadcast associate is Gilbert Zepeda. The executive producer of the pregame show is Mike Connor, the great Mike Connor, as he is known back at MLB Network. Producer is Marty Montalto, and the director is Mike Martin. Here's Mark Kotze now, representing the last chance for San Diego, down a bunch late. Now the Dodgers with a chance to close it out today and earn a split with a win tomorrow. As badly as this series started for Los Angeles, in this what have you done for me climate of a game a day for 6 months. Something positive for the guys in Dodger blue.
Well, the Dodgers will sleep a little better tonight, and is this the day that things start going their way?
More post-game coverage from the MLB Network with Greg Amsinger and Mitch Williams when we return.